welcome back to your favorite podcast, De-Influence. The news is out.
Rip it off. Just for the pod listeners, they already know.
We're pregnant.
We are pregnant. Do we say we?
You're pregnant? We're pregnant. We have our third baby coming in January, which we're so excited about. It was really sweet when we found out. So we were in London and we did New York and then London. And I had taken like 3 or 4 pregnancy tests with me on that trip because I was like, I want to know on this trip if it happens. And every pregnancy test I took was negative. I took 2 in New York and then another in London. They were all negative. And I usually start my period on the 13th. But like they tell you these pregnancy tests that you can detect, I think 6 days early before your missed period. So I was like, there's just no way. And then I was like texting Ellie. I was like, my boobs don't hurt. You know, honestly, I felt like I was PMSing on that trip, you know? So yeah. I was like, no, like my period's coming. And then on May 12th, which is Mother's Day and our 6-year anniversary, we're both on May 12th. We found out that morning.
It was special.
It was really special.
We were both kind of bummed when they came back negative too.
Yeah, we were bummed, like especially in New York, because I really was like, no, they're like for sure, like come on. And so yeah, it was crazy. He even thought, funny story, like when I did the test, Jordan thought that I was pranking him and that I like knew the whole time, because he was like, no, you had to know that you were pregnant. I was like, no, literally, babe, like I took 3 that were negative. Like this is the 4th one. You like didn't believe me that I didn't know.
Actually, like you swear you were not, like you didn't know before that time in London.
No.
That's so crazy.
All the tests were negative.
I was convinced that you knew, but I never saw them with my own eyes. I saw the first one, not the second one.
Okay, well, I took 3. They were all negative.
Funny.
I laid it out in our hotel room in New York. It was like, yeah. So yeah, our reveal video is like not that cute because Jordan's like, you know. And I was like, I didn't know.
It was a really special time to find out though.
Yeah, it's really sweet. I was finally able to tell my parents. I've told like a lot of my friends, and it was a really sweet moment when I told my parents, because like this third baby is kind of like, when I look at all my dreams as a little girl, like when I have this third baby, like all my dreams will have come true.
Yeah. I
always saw myself as a mom of 3 minimum. You know, I've always said minimum.
Right.
4 maximum. And so it's like, it's so crazy that it's like actually all happening. And my dad, after I told my dad, he walked out, he goes, you know, all my dreams are coming true because all your dreams are coming true.
Wow.
It was so sweet.
I know. I heard him whisper something, and then he whenever he knows he's about to say something sentimental, he starts tearing up. So I was like,
my dad's very sentimental. My mom's like, wow, like how are we going to do another baby? And my dad's just like so sweet and sentimental. We actually did a really cute reveal to tell them. But, and so we'll end up posting that. But, so yeah, it's just like really sweet, really special. I could care less if it's a boy or girl. I think it's a girl because we'll talk about my pregnancy symptoms, but I literally am like, oh my gosh, like either one, I could see you just being like, oh, so
How does
sweet.
it feel to finally be able to tell people? Because you've been out for the count for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's definitely a relief. I am 8 weeks, so I'm very early, and I've never shared a pregnancy this early. I've always waited, I think I was 20 weeks when isn't that crazy? I was 20 weeks when I shared Stella.
But this one's knocked you on your butt harder than any of them.
Yeah. I want to talk about like why I shared and everything that's been going on. With Stratton, I shared probably at like 15 weeks. So I definitely, this is the earliest I've ever shared before. And I think it's because I've been affected, like my mental health has been affected differently this pregnancy. I've dealt with, pregnancy has always been hard for me. It's so worth it, but it's always, I think everybody relates. Like it's just a challenging time, like physically and, and then you sometimes go through these like mental spirals, but this has set me, when my symptoms started to kick in, I experienced the worst symptoms of depression. Mm-hmm. And like to the point where I was not even able to speak to Jordan. I was like not functioning. And it brought a lot of attention, outside attention from my audience. I mean, honestly, even from my mom. Like,
Yeah.
like I,
Actually, you telling your mom, you should tell that story, 'cause it's really funny.
Yeah. I think I worried a lot of people. Like you even had like some of your guy friends texting you because I didn't reply to any of my girlfriends for like over a week and a half. I was not really able or wanting to work or motivated to work or post anything. And so it brought a lot of attention, which when you're really struggling with depression or symptoms of depression, it makes it even worse sometimes because like everybody starts to zoom in on your life. And it made me feel like more pressure, like I need to act normal because I don't want people like, you know, inspecting every single little thing. It just makes me feel even worse. And so I felt like I was kind of in this like tough position where people are like making assumptions about maybe she's sick with this or maybe she's this or maybe she's that. And I was like, I don't want that type of attention. Like
It's
I don't,
like a hard thing to deal with.
yeah. And I don't want to worry people because I'm like, no, nothing. I mean, I really was struggling. I probably had the worst week, one of the worst weeks of my life.
Yeah. To put it in perspective, it was like sleeping probably 12 hours a night. And then on top of that, she'd be asleep for 5 to 6 hours throughout the day.
Yeah.
All in bed. You know, you had this like really strong tendency to isolate. I'd be like, hey, you want to go on a walk or you want to go outside? And you just like didn't have the energy to do it.
Yeah. Very
tough.
Very, it's crazy when depression hits me. It's so like physical because there's nothing I'm upset about. In fact, I'm really happy. I'm like so happy that this baby is coming. This is everything I ever wanted. But it's like these symptoms of depression. It's like my hormones switch and it's like I become the opposite version of myself, which is, and physically, it's so physical when I have depression. I'm so lethargic. I can't keep my eyes open. I have the worst migraines above my left eye. So you're kind of miserable all day because you're in pain. I get aches all over my body to where I can't even get out of bed. I remember I was so tired. I couldn't even open my mouth, my jaw to talk. Like that's how tired I was. My eyes are like constantly rolled back. I'm sensitive to the light. So I don't want to go outside. So you kind of become like, just like you become a recluse and no motivation to really live at all. So all I wanted to do was sleep all day because this sounds horrible, but sleeping was the only time I was happy because I couldn't feel anything. And so I liked to be asleep. And so when I would wake up, I would try, here's like an example, but like, you know, like I love when I get my Amazon packages.
Yeah.
Like I love when I get my packages in. And because I was feeling so depressed, I couldn't open my packages every day. And so we started to acquire, and I'm the only one that really opens them. And so we started to acquire like stacks of boxes. And like every time I'd walk through, I'd see all these stacks of boxes and I'd be like, Dani, you got to open your packages. Like they're taking over the front, room. And like, I could not open my packages because I couldn't even like muster the strength to like get some scissors or even to like walk over there. And like, so, like every morning you'd come in and I'd try so hard to open a package and like, I couldn't do it. And so then I would just get back in bed and like, I'd open and then sleep another 3 hours. And every time I woke up, I was like, damn, like, I don't want to be awake. I just want to go back to bed. Like, that's just how you feel whenever you're like depressed. And so
I think the harder part too, is that like, I try and not create this environment for you, but it's natural where it's like, the kids are up and they're playing and like I'm moving around the house and like, Brenda's over, people are over. And I hated that you probably felt guilty for resting, but I was like, you should just rest. Like, it's okay.
It's a vicious cycle though. Like it's really confusing and hard to know how to navigate it because sometimes I feel like when you're depressed and people cater to you so much, they take the purpose out of your day.
That's why I didn't open your packages. Truly, thoughtfully.
Yeah, like you still have to have little accomplishments throughout the day. Yeah. And I wasn't able to do my makeup. I wasn't able to like even shower. I know that sounds disgusting, but like I was so gross. But I was like, damn, if I can just get these packages. And it probably took me like 6 days. But then like on the 7th day, because I had talked to my doctor and she thought I had like a virus or something. So that's why we were going in for blood work. And, you just want to check. Honestly, I wouldn't have been shocked if I had like the coronavirus or something.
Right.
Because on top of that, all the nausea was kicking in and everything, all the other pregnancy symptoms that you get. And, but I remember like the day I opened my packages, I was like, oh my gosh, I just opened 3 packages. Like I did it. And then I went back to bed.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I think the hardest part about that season, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that have been pregnant before and like, you know, kept the secret close to your family because, you know, it is scary not knowing like what could happen that first trimester. I think the hardest part that y'all probably relate to is not when people don't know and you're acting that way. Like
they're very worried.
They're very worried because it's not, you're not acting yourself. And then like, especially whenever you're nauseous and people are talking to you and you're like so short with them. Cause I'm like, I can't. Like Jordan's like, okay, let's talk about like a trip we're going to take in July. And I'm like, I can't. It's not that I don't appreciate you. Like, I just feel like I'm going to vomit all over you.
No, I did not take anything personally at
but
all
that's
this
because
pregnancy.
It's our third. But our first, it caused a lot of friction.
Yeah, because you know, I have a lot of friends right now who are going through their first babies, and the guys are taking everything so personally, and it's kind of a skill set to just like not, right?
Yeah.
Because the first one, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Like, what should I be doing different? You know, why is she not happy? I just was very like codependent and like probably, you know, was putting too much effort in. Second one, I was kind of bummed because I was scared. Oh my gosh, it was so close to you feeling good after Stella that I was like, why would we restart this process all over again? And then the third, you know, you were kind of in a very dark place where you were like, oh my gosh, like Jordan, like you could just go, your mind goes to this place where you think it's going to be forever. And I was like, Dani,
when I was going through it,
I was like, Dani, you're pregnant. It's okay. Like
it's temporary.
I bet next week you're feeling better. And then the week after that, you're feeling better. And so I think that made our marriage okay during the time.
Yeah. The one thing I was saying, people were like, what made it, probably want to know, like what made it better? And I'm just going to be totally honest with y'all. There were moments when I was depressed that I was like, okay, exercise, get out. Like, you remember that day we took Stella to the splash pads outside? Mm-hmm. I would do things like that, like for an hour, like eat a green or drink a green smoothie, you know, protein, whatever. And then I would just fall right back asleep. I'm going to be honest with y'all. The only thing that helped me was my medication. I called my doctor and I doubled my dosage that I was taking. And because I was on a very, very low dose. And within 3 days, like my migraine went away. The aches went away. Like everything went away. And that's what helped. And so ever since then, now I think if I am in bed or if I'm struggling, it's like purely a pregnancy symptom. It's like normal, you know, I'll nap 1 hour a day. Like that's normal for, I think, a pregnant person. I'll feel sick and like just be a little agitated. I think that's normal. There's a very big difference between like a depression and pregnancy symptoms.
What percentage of females that get pregnant do you think go through severe depression symptoms? Like, is it, because for us it's our norm now, so I'm like, oh, I think that this is just part of pregnancy, but I don't think it's like that for everyone, right?
No, I think man, and if you don't go through that, like, oh my gosh,
you should have like 7 babies.
Well, and you know, I really didn't experience that much with Stratton. It was really Stella. I did postpartum, but like during the I don't know. You're right.
You resonated with what I said in the car yesterday. I think it's like when your hormones, like, so when you get pregnant in your first trimester, your hormones are shifting a lot. And I think that's when depression sets in the most. And then after your pregnancy, when they're shifting back, is when it sets in the most.
It's all the hormones, man. I'm telling you, they really just like rock you. But I've had friends that haven't gone through that. And, but I was looking up, it said like 10%. 10% go through depression, like depression symptoms when they're pregnant, not postpartum, like actually during their first trimester.
That's low. That's way lower than I thought.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the 10.
That's way lower.
Yeah, and so and that makes it hard to talk about whenever it is like you're one of 10. Like it's not everybody goes through that.
Right.
But man, I am very thankful to be feeling better. Our last 2 episodes, oh my gosh, our podcast producer is like probably like giggling, laughing, like, y'all, it was so hard to film those episodes. Like I was straining like the whole time, and it was because of the depression and the nausea. Like, it was so hard. And plus, like, I want to be honest with y'all, but I also was like, I need to figure out what is going on with myself before I spill all my guts. Because, like, you know, that's one thing that I've talked about before is, like, it's healthy to be real and authentic and everything, but it's also healthy to, like, protect your peace and not let too many outside opinions, like, sway you whenever you feel like you're on your deathbed. And so there was, like, it just takes time. And sometimes I feel like I don't have that luxury of, like, figuring things out. I need maybe a week or two to, like, take time off or take a step back. And everybody's like, where are you? What's happening? It's breast implant illness. It's this, it's that. Jordan and her fighting, whatever. And I'm like, no, please.
Oh, was that one of them? Oh, funny.
No, all the things.
Oh, big one, he said.
Yeah. And the thing is like, it's, that makes me feel even worse. So I don't really know how to navigate it, but I decided I was going to share early because I know that it's early, and I'm going to be honest, I have not even gone to my 10-week appointment yet. Like, usually you go, your first appointment is like between 8 and 10 or 12 weeks. So I have not even gone to my first appointment yet. I went to my normal doctor.
Right.
Yeah, it can be scary, but I think that if something did happen to my pregnancy, I would want all of y'all to know, and I want everyone to know, and especially, like, my friends and family, because I think, like, the support would help me. Mm-hmm. I think if I went through everything secretly, like the depression, then the pregnancy, and maybe something, like, you know, that would just make it even more complicated and more challenging. And so at this point, now that I feel like I'm willing to share that because I'm better in a better mental headspace. But if this was last week, like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think the lack of real time in all of this, because every other pregnancy has been pretty decently real time. Like, if you went through something, it was, like, talked about in real time. I feel like it's been so much healthier this pregnancy, just you processing and then us talking about things. Like, even now we're on a 2-week delay or 1 week delay since your depression kind of, like, left the room for a second. I've enjoyed this one a lot more.
The pregnancy?
Yeah, honestly,
what?
I know.
Tell them why. Tell them what you've been doing.
Well, I've been playing a lot of Settlers of Catan. Yeah, people don't know. Like, that game saved my life.
Because I didn't talk to him for about 7 days, and literally.
No, truly. Because each game lasts like an hour, and I'll play 4 games. And I'll be like, oh wow, the day's gone. You know, but, like, that entire time, you know, you were sleeping, so it just, like, didn't let it. It made my mind not wander or go to doomsday scenario. It let me be like, okay, this is such a temporary thing. It's
a temporary thing. It feels heavy, and it feels like it's going to be forever when you're in it. But if you can just get something to pass the time, honestly, that's why I felt like sleeping.
Yeah, but you know, further on that topic, like, this has been the hardest pregnancy on you, in my opinion, because, you know, I've been objectively here for all of them. I think this one's been the hardest one on you. But I feel like we've navigated it the most healthy, just simply because, you know, maybe you were feeling a lot of pressure from the internet during this one, but I wasn't. And I think because I wasn't.
Well, lucky you.
But listen, because I wasn't, I feel like it allowed for us to have a culture in our family to not worry about it as much. And maybe that's just wishful thinking. But I think that when you and I are both worried about something, the culture of our families were super worried about it. I think you were struggling with, like, opinions of the internet, but I was pretty, like, removed from that. And I think it allowed for us to kind of stay a little bit more even keel. No,
100%.
Yeah. It just has not seemed as emotionally like this because of the internet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But your mom, tell the story about how your mom found out.
So, my mom, when I was really bad, my mom was in Costa Rica. So, tornado. Yeah. I was really struggling, and you know, I think I took maybe 5 or 6 days off, but I tried my best each day to, like, post a photo or to, like, just get something up so that people wouldn't be worried, because when I don't post, people are like, what's going on? As they should, because I post every day, so it makes sense why people would be concerned. And so my mom, when she got back from Costa Rica, she called me one morning, And she goes, Dani, I need to talk to you. She goes, I think I'm going to come over. I'm going to take you to lunch. She goes, we need to have a chat. She goes, what is going on with you? You are not okay. I'm worried about you. You know, like something is going on and you need to tell me what it is. What is going on? Something is happening. What's happening? Like she thought something big was happening, like a secret. I was like,
they always do.
I was like, Mom. She goes, I'm coming over right now. We have to talk. And then I took the phone up to her and I'm like, because I'll be honest, like I still wanted to do something fun to tell our families. Right. You know, I wanted to plan something, not even for like Instagram. I just like to have those moments, especially because you can show your kids one day. And I hadn't thought of an idea yet because I was feeling so crappy. And I was like, Mom, I have to tell you over the phone. I'm like, I'm pregnant. That's why.
Yeah. And then she it was hard for her because she was so concerned. She's like, I'm going to fix this to like, oh. Yeah. It was funny, but a lot of people were texting that.
Yeah. And then I felt so bad for your mom because I was like really struggling the day that I told her. Remember, I think this was like on the 5th day of sleeping, and we took Stella and Stratton to a splash pad, which was probably the first time I had left my house in 5 days / been outside. And I was like your mom showed up, and I was like, man, I hadn't had any time to think of anything special, but I was feeling so down and so gross that I gave her a hug. Go, hi, I'm pregnant. I'm sorry. I feel like shit. Literally, that's what I said.
I know. I think I was filming it and there was like a porta potty in the background and I was like, this is so like real.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry. I can't. And she was like, oh, excited. I'm like, I really wanted to plan something fun. I didn't have it in me. Even our pregnancy announcement video, that day I was in bed all day too.
Yeah, you rallied.
I got my hair done and I got my hair done at 11 because I couldn't even brush my freaking hair. And then I got back in bed all day and got up at like 6 for the photos, took the photos, went back to bed.
Yeah.
But I've had 2 good days in a row. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot better and a lot more hopeful. I'm only 8 weeks along, which is like so crazy. Like we have so much more to go, but I'm excited. I'm 20% along.
Yeah.
I just want all the babies, but the pregnancies are so hard.
The pregnancies are very hard on you. And that 10% number is striking to me because I was like, oh, maybe like half of women have easy pregnancies, half have really hard.
Well, this will be interesting too, because I've never shared my first trimester before. I've never talked about it.
Wouldn't it be like beneficial for you to share it? Like, I mean, I just think about how many of my guy friends who are now going through their first children, like we talk about everything. We talk about all the different nuances and how helpful it is. So wouldn't you sharing your first trimester be like a helpful thing?
Yeah, I mean, but you got to be tough. Like as a mom and when you're pregnant and if you're going to share that, like you got to be mentally strong and know.
Why?
Because people have so many opinions about the way you live your life when you're pregnant. Oh my gosh. Like,
man, I'm so tired of people having opinions about the way we live our lives. It's unreal.
I know.
That's why I'm removed. I'm just like, I just can't win.
Yeah. Like people are very, very, Dude. And so that's why a lot of people don't share. Like, that's why I waited till I was like 20 weeks I think I was 21 weeks with Stella. Cause it's like,
but it's like not your fault that you're nauseous and depressed. So what are they going to say? Like, what's the hate?
You'll see.
Just like give me like one example. Like put on your
working out, what you're eating.
Yeah.
Like just the way you look.
But it's like, to be honest, don't they like comment on all that stuff already without you being pregnant?
Yes, but like here's the thing though. Okay, when you are pregnant, you are hormonal.
Yeah.
And you are fragile. Mm-hmm. And you are like, your mind is already struggling and you're already like trying your best to do everything right. And so you're a lot more sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you remember that time? Oh my gosh. When I was pregnant with Stella, y'all, the hormones had just kicked in and we were going to Equinox, the gym, to work out. Y'all, I had the weirdest thing happen to me on the way to the gym. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. This was so creepy. I was like, it was out of a horror film. I had this like influx of hormones that I like physically felt come into my body, and I just started hysterically laughing and then
that's
hysterically crying.
Oh man, that was a
Do
weird
you remember
one.
that?
I do remember that.
And there was nothing I was laughing or crying about. I started laughing, like belly laughing so much where like I couldn't breathe. And then it just turned into like a hysterical cry. And I was like, damn, I'm crazy right now. Like, this is not normal. I haven't had a moment like that yet.
I'm so like unfazed right now. Like just unfazed. Like I just know we're going to get on the other side and it's going to be great.
I just can't wait to have 3. I'm so excited.
What are
like,
you,
this is everything.
like, how are you feeling about our transition from 2 to 3?
I'm like not worried about it at all.
Same.
I don't know why. Like,
I know. I was worried about it before.
people are like, oh my gosh, 3. I'm like, yeah, like I always was.
They're like, no more man-to-man zone defense. That's what they always say.
I'm like, I already feel like it's a zone defense.
I know, same. But like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, maybe we should be. Maybe like the moms that have 3 are like, oh gosh, these little naive little nuggets.
Maybe.
You know?
I'll tell you what I'm worried about the most is
Postpartum.
No, I'm good.
Oh,
I'm good. I'm like here for you. Like I'm here. I got Settlers Catan. Like you need a nap time. It's like, okay, I'll get a match in, you know, like I'm really like good. I'm not worried about that stuff at all.
Oh, I am.
I do think it's probably a girl, if I'm being honest. And
the nausea is, I was nauseous with Stella, but not with Stratton.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not God, so I don't know what is best for our family. He knows I don't, but I have always seen Stella and Stratton and then another brother. Like, cause I think
2 boys, 1 girl.
Yeah. Cause I think that Stratton would play so well with like a little brother. And I think Stella would like care for her 2 brothers. That's just her personality.
I don't know a lot of families where the sister is the oldest.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh wait, my next door neighbor's growing up. Never mind.
So Stella with a younger sister, and Stratton being like
Here's what's
s'mored
sweet.
between 2 sisters. I just can't imagine it yet. It's very interesting. I'm trying to figure out the dynamic.
Like, once I have 3, I can't imagine not having 4.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping these are twins, triplets.
Oh
I take
my
triplets.
gosh. Can we pray that it's twins? I would love to have twins.
Everyone, unite your prayer warriors. Pull out your beads.
Well, it already like is what it is. I just haven't had my
Sweet
sauna.
Jesus, you are a good God.
Oh wait, speaking of that, if you are confused about our pregnancy announcement, we had to use Stella's sonogram.
Yeah.
For our pregnancy announcement because we hadn't gone to the doctor yet. So all of like in the video where we announced, it was actually Stella as a baby.
Is that controversial?
No, whatever.
Yeah. Why would that be controversial?
They're just little nugs. They all look the same. There's little nuggets in there. No, it's we're good because I don't get my sonogram. I don't get my pictures done for 2 more weeks. So
so Dani's being a little crazy about this pregnancy in another way. She doesn't want to find out the gender.
yeah, I feel like it'd be so exciting.
I hate that. I hate that so much. Like I can't go until January not knowing how to like envision.
Just
our
accept that it's a
lives and
girl. Just be like, it's a girl. It's like we're having a girl. Like accept it.
I don't want that surprise in the delivery room. I don't know why people do that.
Why do you not want that surprise?
I don't want that surprise.
What? Why?
Because I want to know. I want to be able to like dream.
He likes to read about it, research it,
and
think
envision
of it.
and like think about it and be like, oh my gosh, when you know Stella and Stratton are this age, like new baby's going to be this age. Like I want to.
What about if
dream
you
about
found
it.
out and I didn't?
Oh, I would love that. See, I would do that, but I wouldn't be able to keep a secret. No,
I know
way.
you would have a Freudian slip for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to keep this from like my friends, and I'm shocked that they didn't pick up on my hints. I would be like, hey, like, you know, what do y'all think about this thing? Like asking all these like new baby questions that I've just forgotten, even though it was only 2 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah. Wow.
Are we going to stick with the ST names? Stratton, Stella?
It's such a good question. Stop. Do not say what our baby name is. No, Jordan, stop. It's so annoying. You're being so annoying right now.
So
Don't
you like
say
it.
it.
So we can stick with ST.
No,
She's been trying to like diverge from the ST names. She thinks it's too, what did you say?
It's kind of like a circus.
It's like kitschy.
It's a little kitschy. It's a little cringe. But at the same time, here's the thing. Because it's not like having like kids that all start with the same letter. It's
Yeah.
kids with all having the same 2 letters. It's not a s family. It's a st family. And that's just like a little specific.
It's like
but
Stratton, Stella, and Steve.
Stephen and Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley.
I dated a guy named Stanley once.
Really? What was
Yeah.
it like?
It was like my skater phase.
Oh, a skater named Stanley. That's
yeah.
shocking.
Yes,
I just see it like a pocket
He had a
protector.
very raspy voice.
Huh.
Like kind of in a weird way. Like smoker. It sounds like a smoker, but we're 14.
Like, hey, I'm Stanley.
Yeah, kind of like that.
You want to see my Ollie?
Yeah, seriously. But no, the thing is, I will say, the funny thing is, I have 2 names that I love, and they start with ST. Like I would choose them even if I wasn't doing STs. So that's my biggest struggle. But I also, like for a girl, I have so many cute names. For a boy, I struggle. Mm-hmm. I like more like the traditional William, Jack, Charlie type of names. So,
You know what's so funny about this pregnancy too? Last thing we can talk about is I feel like the culture of the internet around pregnancies has shifted so much. Like, you know, when you're pregnant with Stella and when you're pregnant with Stratton, it was like pregnancy was all the rave, you know, like the internet like loved pregnancy. But like, it's so funny because I got a text message from one of my friends when we didn't even announce it yet. But it was that like reel where you rolled on top of me and it was like,
I don't think
ovulating.
I was pregnant then when we filmed that.
No, but
Was I?
it was just the reel was about you ovulating.
Yeah.
And so my friends started guessing and saying, oh, baby number 3 on the way.
Yeah,
And then another friend responded and said, influencer life, you got to. Like minimum of 3. It's like a new iPhone. You have to come out with another one.
Wait, is that true? Let's think about it.
What?
How many influencers have 2 kids? Jen Reed.
She has 2. Yeah. Maddie Nelson's going for 4.
Yeah, just 4. Okay.
Krista has 3.
3. You're right.
All the TikTokers, they only have like 2.
That's because they're so young.
They're young, right?
That's the thing. I don't know if it's like everybody has to have 3 kids, but what I always thought it was is these people like popped off because they had more than 3 kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, she has 5 kids. What is that life like? And then you want to follow because you're like, I can't imagine having 5 kids, or maybe I could. Like, that's why it's like interesting. I mean, Sarah Litt's also like, they're amazing, cool people, but it's like crazy to watch her family. There's 7 of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I guess let me ask you this. Do you feel like the culture has shifted since your last pregnancy to this pregnancy? Like, do you think that like...
No, I think we're just all getting older.
Really?
And more people are joining online. So it's like pregnancies aren't the same as they probably were, 3 or 4 years ago, because like everybody's like posting them more because everybody's creating content more, not because there's more or less of them.
But you don't think that there's like a narrative out there that's like if you're an influencer, you have to have a minimum of like 3 kids?
I never really thought of that.
Or is there a conversation that's had? So like, let's say I'm a mom and I don't have any kids yet, but I'm thinking about planning a family. Do you think that influencers having a lot of kids creates this expectations that you have to have a lot of kids?
Support for de-influence comes from Element. As you all know, baby number 3 is officially on the way, making prioritizing my health that much more important. I love Element to help me stay hydrated while conquering all of my mom and work duties, especially while pregnant. Element is a zero-sugar electrolyte drink mix born from the growing body of research revealing that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels 2 to 3 times government recommendations. Element is formulated for anyone on a mission to restore health through hydration and is perfectly suited for athletes, moms, folks who are fasting, or those following keto, low-carb, whole food, or paleo diets. I'm not always the best about drinking water, but the Element packets make it easy for me to stay hydrated. Right now, Element is offering a free sample pack with any drink purchase. That's 8 single-serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors to share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/deinfluence. Go to drinkelement.com/deinfluence, and if you're an Element insider, you have first access to Element Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte water. Okay, so this is what I really think it is. I think it's in our niche because there's a lot of like Southern influencers. We like grew up in the Bible Belt. Like it's more traditional to have more kids. Like if you follow,
It's biblical
no, stop.
to procreate.
Not to have
To
a bunch
populate
of,
the earth.
but not to have a bunch of kids. No, it's like, no.
I mean, we are in a population decline. It's important.
Okay, but
We should have more babies. Everyone.
Okay, let's not go there because not everyone needs to have kids.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying they have.
It's not
to have
like your
kids.
purpose in life for some people.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Like,
Yeah, you're looking at me like I'm stepping on some landmine, and all I'm saying is like, yeah, big families can be great blessings. I'm not. If you don't want that,
I
that's
know,
okay.
and like, yes, and so that's why I think that it feels like, oh, every influencer has 3 or 4 kids. It's like probably because in our niche, there's a lot of Southern influencers with more traditional values that value having bigger families and want bigger families. But I think if you follow families in other parts of the country, maybe that's not what they value, you know?
Sure.
Like how many influencers in New York do you follow that live in the city that have 5 kids?
Not.
I can't really think of one.
How many does Something Navy have? 3?
She's 3.
But she's like kind of.
She's kind of the like anomaly.
She's an anomaly, but I think that probably has to do with like her
Wait,
having
you know who
means
had a
in
lot
the
of kids
city
in the
to-
city was the Austries sisters. There's like 4 of them, and they grew up in the city.
Yeah, you know what's
That's cool.
Here's what I will say, and Stephen Houghton said this too. The more siblings I think you have, the closer your family's going to be, because
So-
it creates so many inner bonds between them. Like every large family that I know, it does seem like on average the siblings are closer.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. I'm pretty close to my family. There's only 2 of us.
That's true.
So, because sometimes I feel like the parents have more time to focus on just you.
True.
I get a lot of attention because there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a perfect formula. I'm just saying like it's a fun thing to have large families.
Yeah.
I think it scares a lot of people, but the more people in the Southern Bible Belt that we have talked to, it has scared me less to have a large family because I think that yes, it's hard, but there are a lot of blessings that come with it too.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I wanted to have 3 kids.
Yeah, tell us that.
Because I really wanted my kids to have siblings close in age. Mm-hmm. And I'm so proud of myself. Like I'm so proud that I did it, even though it was so hard. Like my pregnancies have been so hard, but I'm so happy that we like pushed through and we did it because it's like so worth it, especially being on the other side of Stella and Stratton. It was so hard in the moment sometimes, but like it's like seeing them play. I'm like, this is it. That's what I wanted. This is everything. And it's so sweet to see them. And like my brother and I are 5 years apart. You and your brother are 4 or 5 years apart. And you know, we're close now that we're older, but when we were younger, we just had like nothing in common. And so I really wanted and this is just a personal preference. A lot of people had like 5 siblings grow up and they're like, I'm only gonna have 2 kids. And I don't want them to be close in age because I actually want to focus on my kids because like I never got to see my parents. You know, so everybody, that's what makes it so beautiful is we all have like different visions and goals for our family. If we were all the same, it would be very odd. And so, but for me personally, I was like, man, I want to have 3 or 4 kids and I want them all to be close. Like I always wanted that vibe with the fam.
Same.
I'm so excited. Like it's so hard, but I can't wait.
But I will say, and I thought this before. I thought this when we just had Stella. You know, I remember we went to Jose, that Mexican restaurant, and we were talking to Jordan and Amber Massey, who have like, how many kids they have?
I think 5.
5. And we were talking to them.
Or is it 6?
I think it might be like 6.
I can't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, we were talking to them and I just couldn't understand how they went through the Band-Aid ripoff of having your first kid and your just life getting flipped upside down and then doing that 5 other times.
Yes.
And I'm very even keel for 3. I think I could be even keel if you were like, let's run it back and do 2 under 2 again and have 4. But the people who do like 6 or 7, I'm not there yet. I still think that there's something special about them.
Yeah.
I don't say crazy. I say special because it is like a calling.
I mean, think about how much time you spend pregnant.
Like, you know, right now we've been married 6 years. You've been pregnant or going through pregnancy or postpartum through most of that.
The effects of pregnancy.
Yeah, for most of that.
You can do like some work on a marriage too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like hard.
But shockingly, I mean, we're
We made it.
Someone told me, one of our producers said that there was a rumor that we were fighting, and I was like, we're actually kind of better than ever.
Yeah, we
I mean,
really
she's
are.
asleep and I'm playing Catan, but
say?
like we're good.
What did I say to you this morning? I rolled over. What did I say?
You said that I was it was so great. So random. You just rolled over and you said, you're the love of my life. I love you so much, or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I meant it.
I was like, I did it. I'm doing it. I did something right.
You know, all that guilt of sleeping was really building up on me.
No, you shouldn't feel guilty at all.
Do you think that influencers have multiple kids for content? Be honest. Think about it.
I love to give people the benefit of the doubt. And so I don't want to say that it is like a strategy to have babies to boost your engagement, but I think that there are influencers in our space, and I do not believe that this is us, who factor that into their decision.
Wait, I have to know who. Can you whisper? Is there somebody like you're thinking about, or just like people in the niche, like space?
I would never have evidence for this at all, but in private conversations between their spouses, just like knowing their drive and knowing like what is
Gives me anxiety.
important, I feel like it's got to play into it in some way.
What?
And here's what I'll say. It's not as like black and white as that. And here's how I think it also plays out is that when one of you guys does get pregnant, engagement goes up, right? And so even if it's a subconscious thing, I think it creates an expectation that sometimes has nothing to do with the internet or engagement of like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing this too, right? Like I need to jump into
I have to
pregnancy.
push back on that, because the reason why like I just think that's all like such a bunch of bull crap is because you're following us like through the times that people would have babies. Like, when else are we going to have babies? Like you're following someone when they're maybe getting married and then they start a family. Like those are the years that people are going to have babies. So it's not like they're like doing it for engagement. It's just like it's the time I'm 31. Like that's when I physically wanted to have babies. Like,
yeah, all I'm saying is like, okay, so let's say I'm a 25 something female and I just got married.
But I also feel like when you go through the postpartum and your body changes and all these like things that are really hard, it makes it really hard to work. It doesn't make it like, I don't think that anybody actually does that for content. It's too overwhelming. It's too much.
I think you're seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. I think they totally do. And maybe I'm like, I don't think it's one. Okay, if there's a pie in your decision-making process, I think it makes up 15% of like, why should we have another kid? Let me think about this. 15% of that decision is like, oh, content.
I get it maybe for your first. I think that maybe some people feel that way for their first, but I can't imagine people feel that way for their second or third.
I could agree to that.
Because it rocks your world and then you're like, oh.
But
and you like
what I will also say is that I think that your algorithm is so powerful in dictating what you think life should look like. So for example, if I was a mid 25-year-old female that was married and living in Kansas City, okay, but I followed only New York influencers, I would not feel pressure to like be having multiple babies or having a family of 3 or having a family of 4. I would be more like, I need to get to New York and I need to be going to New York Fashion Week and I need to be going to the Hamptons in the summer and all this stuff. And so I think that for the people who are not influencers but follow the influencers, having Maddie Nelson, who's having 4 children, us, who's having 3 children, Dare Land, who's having 3 children. You can't, Taryn, who has like 7, Amber Massey, who has like
5.
5?
Yeah, 4 boys and a girl. And Massey's have 5.
Guys, I'm sorry. Massey's and Newton's, anything plus 4 is like 7 to me. There's no 5 or 6. It's just 7. So I'm saying that there's too many, but I think if you're watching that every day, there's no way it doesn't influence you in some way to feel like you need to be doing that too.
I don't know. Sometimes
It's not
I watch that stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I could never. I'm like, I don't know how she does it. Like,
yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just you're going to be influenced by what your algorithm feeds you.
or the people around you.
Or the people
your own
around
family.
you. Yeah. Or your own family. But our family was not, like we are, I think that we are.
No, I mean, the way that you're raised is going to, like your family, like it does influence you because it's like I grew up with a small family. I want a big family. If I grew up with a big family, I probably want a small family.
Right.
Like that's what I mean. Like
exactly.
I think that plays a big factor into it too. But I don't know. I just personally think I'm like, you're following a bunch of 31-year-olds like that want to have families. They're not getting pregnant because their friends are getting pregnant. They're getting pregnant because that's what they're ready for.
I think that makes up 85% of the truth. I think there's 15%. And listen, I think it's just like the world that we live in. I think that what social media has done is like warped our decision making to, it's like, do I really want this or do I feel like I need to want this? Right?
What do you think? What do you think about moms that make their brand about being a mom? Because I have so many thoughts about this. Versus just a content creator that is a mom. It's like the difference between like, are you a Christian influencer or an influencer that's a Christian? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on?
I have no thoughts. What are your thoughts? I like couldn't even.
This is going to definitely feed into the narrative that Dani's a bad mom, which like it's been a narrative since day one, and whatever. I'm not, so it's cool. But I am actually incredible. But I will say like I am so much like my mom when it comes to being a mom.
Right.
That like, I am not someone that wakes up every day. I'm like, my only purpose in life is to be a mother and to just take care of my kids all day. And it gives me so much joy. And like, some people do feel that way and that's fine. But like, I have dreams and goals and things that I want to do outside of being a mom as well. And like even dreams and goals within our marriage or things I want to do with just my husband that maybe I don't want to do with my kids and things that I want to accomplish in my career. And I loved that about my mom. Like I remember like going to school, and I've talked about this before. I would go to school when I was like in 3rd grade and I'd be like, my mom's in Vegas and she's working a trade show. And like, I'm like, yeah, she's selling strollers, and like I helped her learn her lines last night. Like I used to do that. I used to help my mom, and my mom used to do Spanish commercials. And my mom would like practice her lines, and I would help her whenever I was a little girl. Or I'd help her pick out her outfit for working market, and my mom would be like, come out in these like killer outfits with heels and go work market. And my mom and dad were gone every single birthday of mine because they were going and working market. And like I remember I started to be angry about it when I was like in high school. But like I remember when I was growing up, I was like, my mom and dad are like cool. Like they're doing big things. My parents would go dancing on Saturday nights. And I remember they'd come home like with all their friends, and I'd be like, that's so cool. Like I can't wait to go dancing with my friends. I wasn't like, I can't believe they left me on a Saturday night. Cause like I was taken care of. I had a sleepover. I had my friends over, my mom and dad would take me to Blockbuster and I'd go get candy before. Like I was good. My favorite thing was I would do the Barbie workouts. Like literally I do the Barbie workouts the entire time that my mom and dad were out. Like my parents had such a cool life, and it like, I think that's why it's not so overwhelming for me to have kids. Cause I'm like, oh, it's not like my life's not going to stop. Like my parents are still cool. Like I've always thought that they were so much more, they are more fun than I am. They have so many friends. They go on all these trips. They're like the life of the party. Like they're very like, they're cool people. Mm-hmm. And my mom, I always would be so scared for my mom if she like, that was her only identity. And then I left for college. Like, what would my mom have done? Like, my mom always kept working. She always tried to learn. She always tried to do new things. And like, I loved that about her. And when I left for college, it was hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, I remember my parents went through like a struggle with their marriage and everything, but like they overcame it. And then my mom started working again and started doing her own thing. Like my mom's always been a hustler like that. And that's just like, to me, like that's okay. But I know everyone's different, but like personally, I like to put my kids in my content. I like to be real about whatever's going on, but like I have a lot of other things that I want to share too. Mm-hmm.
What was the original question?
Like the difference between mommy bloggers or bloggers that are mommies.
Got it. And so the people who are mommy bloggers would look at that and say,
Well, people sometimes don't like that about me because they want me to be on the other side of the spectrum. They want
Right.
me to like only find purpose in being a mom, and I'm a great mom and I show up for my kids and like I die for my kids. Like I'll always prioritize my kids. You know what I mean?
and your kids
Like
are,
sometimes I feel like it helps my kids when I also prioritize myself.
your kids respect you. Like what I see, like Stratton's still so young, and it's also like he's a boy and Stella's a girl, and most of the things that you do is very girly. But one of the things that I am really excited about for the future is like, I think as you continue to work and foster a great career and figure out the balance between being a working mom, I've started to see Stella already like taking an interest in what you're doing. Like whether it's like y'all are unboxing packages together and she's like, oh mommy, I love those shoes. Like
Yeah.
you'll walk in like,
That's just like girly, cute stuff.
but last night you walked in, you were going to a dinner with your friends and she was like, oh, I like mommy's shoes. And I go, Stella, tell mommy you like her shoes. She goes, mommy, I really like your shoes. Right. And so it's so hard. I think I'm very sensitive about talking about how we raise our kids because the more that I've gone on in time, the more that I've realized that everyone who judges another family is coming from a perspective mostly of how they were brought up. Rarely try and comment on the way that someone else is doing something, whether it's, a faster, more complex, family dynamic or a slower, more relaxed, nurturing family environment. I just think that every family dynamic looks different, right? And so it's hard for me to even talk about how our family runs and is raised because I wouldn't want to communicate to anyone that like our way is the highway, right?
100%, yeah.
And so I think that, yes, we are raising our family like that, right? And I am so excited about it and I'm so happy about it. And I think it's going to be wonderfully fruitful for our children.
Yeah.
But that's because you and I are who we are,
Yeah.
right? Like we were raised in totally different environments. I was raised in a very like nurturing environment. And I think I bring those assets into our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so you balance our family because like I represent like one side and I'm very good at one side and you represent the other side,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think we meet in the middle of balancing those two qualities really well. And that's what defines the culture of our family.
Right.
Someone else's family, I would never want anyone listening to this and say, and you can pick things from, you can learn from us, whatever you want to learn, but we are never preaching that, hey, this is the way and this is how it should look.
Yeah.
Right. That's what makes me so sensitive about social media in so many ways over the past like year or so, because like I realize now that our kids are not just kids that we are caretaking for. Now they're developing into people, right? And so the way that we develop them might look totally different than how you develop your kids. But
Yeah.
our kids have unique personalities. We have unique personalities. And so it's just hard because everyone who watches on social media can't watch in a way and say, oh, they're doing it that way. That's so cool. I would love to learn from that.
Yeah.
It's like a mirror to them. It's like, oh, I would never do that. So I'm going to tell Dani XYZ. Oh, I look totally different as a mom. So I'm going to tell Dani XYZ.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just hard. I wish that there was just a way we could all kind of be, level headed enough to be like, hey, it's going to look different, but it's okay. Like I
Yeah.
would love to learn from your differences. You can learn from our differences and we can all be like good parents together. But unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like that's how it works or how it happens,
I
and
mean,
it's made me want to retreat in a lot of ways.
It
And I don't know
makes-
if that's good, but it makes me want to retreat because I don't want to make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But all I'm doing is living my life and I'm living the life that we have built and the way that I know how to live it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, and y'all probably even like felt this through my last rant, but it makes me defensive.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me feel like I have to defend the way that I am. And because typically 9 times out of 10, the hate is towards me. And it makes me feel like I have to like prove why, from my upbringing and my gifts and my talents, like this is why I'm doing things the way that I'm doing. But like genuinely, I feel the same way as you do. Like, I don't think that my way is the highway. And like, I don't think that people listening to this should be exactly like me. Like or us, or raise our kids like us. Like Stella is so different than a lot of the 3-year-old girls that I've met, like I've seen, you know? And so the way I'm going to do things with Stella is going to probably be very different, and probably should be very different than what you do with your daughter, you know?
Yeah. Like this is the last thing I'll say, and it's pretty deep, but it's very true. And it's like, the more that time goes on, the more I realize this is true. Like, God is in control and God has a design. Like, he placed me in my family because guess what? I don't think I could have been raised in your family. Like if you're
raised in your family.
Right. If your mom and dad raised me, I might have been a psychopath, but that's just because of who I am. Right. Yeah. God put me in a family with the mom and dad that I needed. He put you in a family with the mom and dad that you needed. And guess what? He brought us together, and now we are married. Okay. And we complement each other as a team in the way that we're raising our kids so well. Right. Yeah. That's it. End of story. There's no, I'm doing better, you're doing better. That's it. It's like,
and we're all going to make mistakes, and that's part of it. Like,
it's all part of it.
And so are y'all. Like, everybody is.
So now that this is a good place to end. Now that we're having a third child.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a lot of decisions we have to make in life.
Oh, you know how I feel about decisions. It took me 2 weeks to decide whether we were going to the mountains or the beach for our summer vacay.
I'm aware. And I was the one planning this family vacation.
We're going
and guess
to the
what?
mountains.
You guys are all the same. And all of the Austins, I'm like, what do you guys think? And it's like, mom will say something, and then she'll be like, let's go to the beach. 2 days later, and I'm like, I literally just planned this whole trip.
We're going to the mountains.
We're going to the mountains. So we have a lot of decisions to make about our lives. Like, do we stay in this house? Do we move? Do we move to Nashville?
I'm not moving to another city.
Really?
I've told you this, unless it's the Cotswolds in London.
Okay, so you'd move to another country.
Did you know that Kimmy and Steven Houghton are renting a house in this Cotswolds for a month this summer?
Yeah, that's awesome. They're going to have so much fun.
They said we could go visit them. I ran into her at the mall yesterday.
Get out of town?
I was like, should we?
Oh my gosh.
I would love to rent a house like that before I commit. Because, like, I'm not milking no cows, and I'm not, like, plucking no chickens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, commit to not England, but Nashville?
Like, not the country, but, like an acre of land. That's a lot to me.
Babe, I'm not moving on to an acre. I'm talking, like, 15.
Acres?
Yes. 25, maybe.
This is what I'm saying, is, like, we should rent a house that for a month.
Aligned right now. We are not equally yoked in our vision.
We really
Nashville.
aren't. We aren't. We're equally yoked on how many children we're having, but we are not.
You asked me, you said, if we move to Nashville, can I have horses? And I said yes.
I said horses. Okay. I was like, yes, horses. But babe, I've ridden a horse probably 7 times in my life. I would have no idea what I'm doing.
I know. You also said, do we have to take care of all these animals? And I said, kind of, but like there are people who help. Like you lease out your land.
That is for people. Literally the bougiest thing you've ever said.
No. You literally lease out your land for people who need to store their horses or need to store their animals. So like I have like a ranch hand.
I'm like, my cowboy and I are going riding horses, and then we're gonna milk the cows. Yeah. And then we're gonna pluck the chicken. What do you do? What do you pluck chickens? That's only if you eat them.
The best and worst thing that Ballerina Farms did for the internet is she inspired so many people to live the farm life.
But she
uninspired so many people because she made it seem like we have to be churning our own butter.
No, let me tell you this. I got to live 20 minutes from a mall.
I know. Always. That's why Nashville's perfect for us. Babe, we're going to have, like, you can avoid this decision all you want, but in about 3 weeks when you're feeling better, you're going to say, we're going to need to move.
No.
Because, like...
I'll move to a different house because you're... So here's our issue with our current house.
What is keeping us in the city?
Babe, I have so many friends here.
Okay, like, that's true.
I love my friends.
That's true.
My family is here. Our church is here. All of, like, our doctors, everything is here. Everything is comfortable. You're going to flip our lives upside down when they're already going to be flipped upside down with the third baby.
Anyway. Okay, then I'm getting a ranch. That's
okay, what are you going to go do at your ranch? Ride little
me and Devin
ATVs?
And Miles. Yeah, me, Devin and Miles, we're going to go.
See, why can't we get a lake house? Then we could all be happy.
Because, babe, I need like a cow or something. I need a cow or a horse or
guys, this
some
is what I'm dealing with. Like I don't know. Like he's being so unrealistic. He's never had a cow before. He's never had chickens. He has no idea how much maintenance it is. Babe, we can't even keep a plant alive.
Babe, this is I need to train our children to till the land.
You're dreaming way too unrealistically. Like it's frustrating because like 2 days ago, you brought up like a whole nother career idea. How are you going to do that? Plus be a dad of 3, plus own 15 acres of land and farm.
So basically what you're saying is you don't support my dreams.
No, I support your realistic dreams, and I want to talk about things that actually make sense. Here's the thing. I will move to 15 acres of land when you decide that you're not going to work anymore because you're going to have to work on the land. Y'all, this is how embarrassing it is. Okay. Stella's crib, like a panel broke off yesterday. When I tell you, all that needs to be done is we need to screw a screw back in, put the panel in with the 2 pegs, and then, like if you built anything from IKEA, like you know what I mean. We hired a TaskRabbit to come out to screw 1 screw.
No, stop it. This is a process issue. This is what
I'm talking about is the issue with our, we have so many processes that there's no way we could move out to a farm. Like, because you would have to be more hands-on with otherwise you're going to waste so much money hiring people to do everything for you. And like, you know how I feel about wasting money like that.
No, that's what I want to do. I want to be hands-on. Like if my crop of corn dies, I need to learn so that next season my crop of corn survives.
What time, babe? With what time?
All of it.
This is my issue with him. We just we won't see eye to eye because it's just, it sounds good in theory, but it's a lot of work.
I just want to wake up to the sounds not of cars roaming the streets, but of birds chirping.
Okay, well, our sound machine has that setting.
That's so funny.
It does.
It does. Yeah, it does. You're right. I should do that.
That's all we need is a $15 sound machine.
Yeah.
Or you know what, babe? I have an idea. Father's Day is coming up. I'm going to get you a bird. I want to see how you raise this bird and how you treat this bird. And if you are responsible with this bird, we can talk about a ranch. See what I mean? Because here's the thing that's going to happen. Like everything, it gets old. You're going to go to a farm. You're going to be raising your cow. You're like, this is so great. As you're milking the cow. And you're like, this is so great. We have fresh milk. And you're like, we have fresh eggs. Well, 3 months later, you're going to be over it. And you're like, I want to live in a high rise. I want to hear the beeps and the sounds of the city. I want to know that anything is going on at any time of day. This is Jordan's pendulum. Swings back and forth, back and forth. At least I'm steady.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to live in Dallas forever?
I'm not saying that. I just don't want to I want to focus on what we have in front of us, which I do think we need a bigger house. So let's actually get back to what we were talking about. So we have so outgrown this house. It's really funny because we said whenever we bought this house, we're like, we'll live here for 2 years. It'll be 4 years in October. It's great. I'm obsessed with this house. We've had so many good memories here, but we now will have to take Jordan's office and that will be the nursery. So Jordan's going to be working at the kitchen table. This room that we're filming in used to be another office. It's turned into the podcast studio. And so another thing that I've always wanted, but we've never had it, is a guest bedroom. And so this fall, before baby comes, I would like to start looking at houses in Dallas that have 1 extra bedroom.
And ranches. Meet in the middle. Shake on it.
No.
Shake on it.
And I can't even look at you right now. I can't even look at you.
Okay. Well, that'll be a fun process for us all.
Yeah. So
very low stress, no conflict, no arguments. We'll be totally aligned on everything we want out of a house and where. It'll be a great time. The hormones will play a strong role in keeping us together.
Can we talk about one other thing that's not a bummer because obviously pregnancy is a miracle and I'm so happy, but I'm going to be so big at Lana and Olivia's wedding and I'm a bridesmaid. And I'll be at the point in pregnancy where things are actually big. There's a point when it's oh, she's cute, it's pregnant. But this is when your nose starts to split and look like it's 2 noses in one. And it starts to your voice starts to change. It sounds like you're an old man. You're oh, 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 oh. And you remember my laugh changes whenever do you remember I got a really good voice with Stratton?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
you
My
talked
voice
about
was
that
like
a lot.
really raspy, and like the baby was like sitting on my diaphragm, and like I was like a really good singer. I was.
You were. It was incredible. It was like Celine Dion. It was my wife.
It was like low and like sexy.
Yeah, like Adele. That's
Yeah,
a lot of
kinda.
people said you sounded like Adele at that time.
I have gotten that before.
Try and sing Rolling in the Deep one more time.
Just wait till I'm like 6 months pregnant, then I'll sing for
Then
you again.
that'll be the intro song.
Yeah, so that'll be cute. But I will say, not to like sway Olivia one way or the other, but like she did. Oh, I can't actually say. Never mind. I was going to tell you the colors that she was going to choose between her bridesmaids, but I don't know if I'm supposed to, so I won't.
Good job.
But one of them, never mind.
Good job. Don't do it. Don't do it. No family conflicts.
But one of them was more flattering than the other, is what I'm going to say. And so she was going to go with the more flattering one, and I was like, yes. So I think she will, but we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway.
That was a fun pod.
You know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say?
I actually don't know.
I'm going to say that today, after you listen to this, and you don't put down your phone and you don't go open TikTok or Instagram and go follow us on De-Influence Podcast.
True. She's pregnant, guys.
Like, I honestly feel bad for you.
Support our queen.
Because we share so many amazing, funny, hilarious things that will take your mood from a 2 to a 10 in seconds.
The only thing we ask for is for you to hit that follow button on TikTok.
And if you want to like and comment and engage, that also would be really sweet.
You know, it's not for us. It's for my pregnant wife and our Gen Z podcast producer.
I'm going to take this a step further.
Yeah.
Why don't you share one of our reels on your stories while you're at it?
Slow down. Baby steps, babe. Chill out.
Okay. Anyway,
Chill.
We love you guys. I'm so happy that we're finally able to share this really big, amazing secret with you guys. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.